Good evening and welcome back to SFR, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Division 2, round 15 around here at Las Vegas. My name is Jamie, and last week we were at the Miami Grand Prix as we saw Velocio Jr. take a podium ahead of Neymar, and President Elite got his first podium of the season after a fantastic drive on his intermediates as well. After starting down at P15, he went on at the intermediates, the only driver to do so, and finished the race in P3 after a fantastic strategy call, because all he had to do was survive the very first few laps, because I think the weather was as treacherous as it was as the race continued on then. So here we are in Las Vegas, a completely different track in comparison to Miami as well. And this track then, with that 1.2 kilometer straight, it should be some good overtaking action. We all doubted this track, of course, because we saw this track as a show thing, as a 6.2 kilometer circuit, first held in 2023. But of course, we did race around here back in the 1980s with Keke Rosberg taking a victory around here as well. But it returns back in the calendar for 23. I believe Charles Leclerc took pole position for the Grand Prix. The Verstappen got him down in towards turn number 1, and 2023 was actually a decent race. As many predicted, it was going to be a boring race, another show in America around here as well, because of all the sponsorship and all the money as well going in towards these races. It's all about it's all about partnership these days in Formula One. It's all about money as well, and what it shows. But it wasn't too bad, was it, around here? Last year wasn't so bad around here, but it could have been better, of course. But we did see Charles Leclerc pressurise George Russell until his tyres dropped away. Hamilton making his way from 10th to 2nd as well on that day, as I think Verstappen won his 4th World Championship around here in Las Vegas as well, as Lando Norris was denied. But what's happening there then? There's two cars who've hit each other, and that is very bizarre. Atlas Coppo has just got a 5 players grid penalty for hitting the back of an RB. And who was that? It wasn't Yusuf Farouk, it was Yusuf Shabek, because Yusuf Farouk is on an out lap, as the other one is on a flying lap. As he heads down in towards turn 5 again, then a few people can scrape the wall on the outside, flirt with the walls, but gets out very nice as we head down towards this chicane. Now this one is a bit difficult, because essentially you got to arrive there, brake and turn at the same time without losing the rear, without locking up the front too much. It's very easy to get whitewashed away from the car, as that corner can be super difficult. But seems like his first attempt at that corner was very successful indeed. No major issues other than a slight hiccup, then a lock-up. As we head down towards 13, he did have a bit of hesitation headed down in towards turn 12. Now coming towards turn 13, this flat-out left-hander kink here, not really classed as a corner, but it's all about then focusing on the entry towards turn 14. Just rest a bit on the straights with the DRS wide open. Of course, in the race, you will be resting on the straights, because the guys ahead of you need to attack and defend. As we head down towards turn 14 then, a bit wobble in the corner, in towards 14, out of 16 we go, just scrapes the wall on the exit as we ride on board with the racing bull as he makes his way towards the finish line, as a lot of people can run out of one lap of depletion, one lap of ERS, as Yusuf goes up into first place, as Neymar, the man that finished in second place, had a quite a little race in second last week at Miami, although he did catch up towards the back of Velocio Jr. in the last few laps of that Grand Prix when it was wet, as Caspino goes quickest now with a 31.4. Of course, the Kickstarter driver, who is still yet to finish on the podium this season after making his debut last season at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He was running inside the top 10 until, of course, he broke his wing. As Zenom goes towards the top of the timing sheets then in the Ferrari with a 30.9, as Zenom, who qualified, I think, in the top 3 last week, as Junior goes towards the top by about 900ths of a second, almost exactly a tenth there ahead of Zenom then in P2. So great stuff indeed, how close it is around here, especially on their first opening laps. There's the championship leader of Burmeister, who slots himself in to P5 as well. Burmeister looking to extend his championship around here. Williams and Burmeister are looking very comfortable. I believe Burmeister is the only Williams after his teammates abandoned him. So MDJ goes up into P3 in the Red Bull, and MDJ's last win was at the Las Vegas Grand Prix in Division 1. He did win in Division 2 in Qatar about 2-3 weeks ago, But of course, it's different divisions then. So his actual last win in Division 1 was in Vegas. Can he repeat the same thing? Because in the feature, in the sprint race, he spun the exit of turn 4-5 and gave the win towards, I think, the two Norwegians of Hurricane and Remy. But in the feature race, he came back very strong to overtake Hazara on the last lap of the Grand Prix on the Las Vegas Strip to win the Las Vegas Grand Prix. What a fantastic drive that was. One of the best drives from MDJ so far. Both asses are giving each other a little bit of a slipstream as Yarum pulls out of the way. As Yarum, I think, was the one that went on to win the Grand Prix ahead of Smoke. Last season, Yarum was the race winner of the Las Vegas Grand Prix as his teammate is making his way down towards the finish line as about to watch the Dutchman cross the line to go up into P6. Now, he's an interesting driver, Kalusla, because he has scored some decent results in the past, but he hasn't scored a podium just yet. After what happened last season in Division 2, he was super close as Velocio Jr. gets a 5-place grid penalty with a collision in the pit lane. How bizarre is that? The Aston Martin pit lane is not even at the beginning, is it? There's no way he could have made contact with the Mills in the pit lane. They're both in the pits. So how bizarre that is. Unless Velocio Jr. just sped full throttle in the pits. I am not sure how he did that. Surely that must be a coding error with the game, because he was when we rode on board with him, he was in his garage, almost in his garage, by his Aston Martin crew, wheeling back in, just like that. We've seen on board with the Ferrari then. So that is super bizarre. Unless he made contact and like 10 seconds later, it popped up on our screens. But when it popped up, he was about to get wheeled in. So I'm not quite sure. Look how far it is from the line right here to the Aston Martin garage. Quite far down. So I have no idea how those two made contact. Well, that's bizarre. Zenon was also in the pit lane, getting wheeled in, as Atlas Copo goes into P3 with a 31.213, as we see a racing ball head out of the pit lane. So there's two drivers who have got a 5-place grid penalty. I wasn't expecting grid penalties to be dished out tonight here around Vegas, but anything can happen really in Vegas, as we still got yet 3 people to settle up times, which is President Elite, Yusuf Farouk, Andy Mills in the Ferrari as well. But back to my point about Klusler. Klusler hasn't scored a podium. His best result came at the Monza Grand Prix, but unfortunately just can't seem to... his best result came in the first race at it was the Mexican Grand Prix. Finished in 4th place on that day. But ever since then, he just can't seem to try and get anywhere near the podium. He's been 5th back in Singapore, but a few disappointing results. I think he's had about 7 outside top 10 finishes in the last 7 races. So it has been a bit of a difficult season for Klaus. I expected a lot from the Dutchman because he was super competitive in terms of almost getting a win, but picking up those podiums as well last season, where he really strived and really showed his pace. But a complete contrast this season as well. But anything could change from one season to another. It's incredible how things could change and sweep over to one season to another, despite it being a few months in between. A lot of drivers can lose their momentum a bit and lose their pace. But personally, it has retired from this qualifying session, just like he did last week. So I'm not quite sure if he has picked up a qualifying ban again. But if he has, then he'll start down in P14, and we'll see what the recovery drive will be like for President Elite, because he went from P14 to P3 back at the Miami Grand Prix last week. And what a drive it was to pick up his first podium this season, because it's been a long time coming for the Aston Martin driver, but just couldn't get it together. Here we go then on board with Caspino in the Haas. Yusuf Shabik is out there in the Racing Bull. His teammate, though, is behind him. So I wonder if, both Racing Bulls are currently on a flying lap together. So I thought for 1 second that one of them will back off. Well, one of them will come out the pit lane later on and try and give their teammate a tow later on in the lap as well. But Yusuf Shabik is a 10th in the first sector, followed by his teammate as well. They both became teammates after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, when, of course, Mansour retired, as he quitted altogether. And that was the last time we ever saw him commentate and race, which was a massive shame there, because he just quit and left the game. As in Brazil is when they had the driver swap, when Yusuf became teammates with Yusuf. We know that Velocio Jr. wasn't really happy being teammates with Yusuf Shabik. They never worked together. It was always these two helping each other out in different teams, because Mr. Joker, or Yusuf Farouk, was in the Ferrari and not helping his teammate either in Mills or Zenom at the time, depending where he was reserving. He was always helping Yusuf Shabak. But the two Egyptians are together in the same team. I expected more because it looked like Yusuf Shabak was an absolute real charge this season because he won 3 in a row, didn't he? He was super, super competitive. He won 3 in a row, picked up 4 podiums in a row, as Yusuf Sharuk goes towards the top of the time machines by 0.3 of a second. His teammate goes into P4 there, so what a lap time there. We've got one Yusuf on pole, benefits by the other. Burmeister in the Williams goes up into P5. I feel sorry for people that don't have teammates tonight because you know that slipstream is powerful. It's just bizarre how powerful it is as well. If you really need that benefit on the toe to even think about taking pole position, because if you don't, then you are monumentally screwed, I dare say, because people that don't have teammates, they can't use the back of each other, or unless, of course, you start a lap behind somebody, which is not ideal, of course, because I think Ryan Gates will come to play. The guy ahead of you might back off because he doesn't want to give you a toe either. So I've tried to do that before, but when my teammate has arrived at a track where the toe is crucial, I've tried to pick up the toe off the back of somebody else, but sometimes they know what they're doing and they back off as well. But MDJ, here he is out towards turn 14 to 16, making his way towards the final corner as he crosses the line right now, goes up into P2. Do you know what? That's a quick lap time there for MDJ then in second place there, as Junior is down in the middle sector and he is down overall. Do you know what? I'm quite surprised he completes that lap time because, as you can see, on his MFD, he's run out of fuel. And I'm not quite sure why he crossed the line to go again because, obviously, he's not going to get that lap time in. He's run out of fuel. Low on battery, so a trip to the pits is necessary. Zenom in P4, what's he doing? He's 1.9 seconds down in the first sector. Is the Ferrari driver still searching? Well, still searching for a bit of luck and hope, I suppose, because he's always got some good pace, but like I say every single race, the curse is just not seemed to be broken. That spell is still upon him. It's just a matter of time when he can break that spell. Of course, it's self-inflicted, but I really hope Zenom really does change his ways, because if you think about it, the whole of the F1 2024 game is where he is spun, so he hasn't really digested and learned much. I don't want to be too harsh, but realistically, surely you got to figure out what's going on in terms of your own race, as Caspino is making his way towards the line to start up and open another flying lap as he heads down towards turn 1. And I can't wait to see what happens going down towards turn 1, because obviously you can go side by side through 1 and 2 and through 3 and 4 as well. We saw that plenty of times yesterday where we saw people go side by side. A bit of a moment out of turn 4 there for Caspino at the back end of the car, unsettled as he makes his way down towards this straight. Sometimes I underestimate how long this straight is. I thought it was shorter than expected, but there is still opportunities to overtake down there. 1/10 up in the first sector is Caspino. Now we're coming towards the first couple of corners where it is so easy to get wrong as well on the entry, and also easy to cut the corner as well. Mess up through there at turn 10 by hitting the wall on the inside outside, and he makes his way down towards turn 13 and 14. These fast corners, as we now think about the braking zone in towards this left-hander we go. As a lot of people do drift through there, a lot of people mess up on the exit as well in terms of hitting the wall on the outside. But Caspino, unfortunately, is down in the middle sector, and evidently we've seen why he was down as well, because of that little bit of a moment out of turn 13 there. Not much action so far on this circuit, but the two Haas's are close together. While there's a bit of lull on the track, I will read out the championship standings in the drivers. So Burmeister, with 3 races left to go, is currently leading the championship ahead of Velocio Jr. Burmeister at 276, Velocio Jr. is second with 224. Yusuf Shabak fighting with Velocio Jr. in the championship from P2 to P4. P2 224, P3 217, and Yoram in P4 with 203. In 5th is Adams with 181, ahead of Neymar in 6th with 171. Despite a win, despite 4 podiums, Neymar is behind Adams in the championship, and that is surprising considering the amount of podiums he's had and the win as well, compared to Adams, who has only had 1 podium this season. That was back at the Belgian Grand Prix. Kausler is P7 ahead of Yusuf Farouk. It has been a bit of a disappointing one for Farouk. He's made quite a lot of mistakes, but he's currently 8th, 3 points behind Klusler, who hasn't picked up a podium inside the top 7. Well, Only two drivers inside the top 10 have appeared on a podium. That is Joram and that is Copo. Lord Danny Boy is 10th in the championship, but Lord Danny Boy is not here tonight. President Elite, who appeared on a podium at the Japanese Grand Prix, Miami Grand Prix last week, is currently P11, as MDJ is P12 with one win and one podium. That was back at the Qatar Grand Prix. Lord Dalem, who appears from time to time, is P13 with about 90 points. Zenum is 14th ahead of the Mills and 15th. Caspino 16th ahead of Ruda. Ruda as well got some decent pace, but unfortunately he's not here tonight. Takabuka and the Super Striker. In the Constructors' Championship, it is Williams leading by about 6 points. Williams on first place with 404 against Racing Bull with 398. Aston Martin currently P3 with 387. Now, with Aston Martin's form, I can really see them being up there. President Elite and also Velocio Jr. are starting to show their form, or start to show their momentum as well. But unfortunately, President Elite has been disqualified from the qualified session. I think he's got a qualified ban, just to confirm. Joram is currently a 10th up in the middle sector as he now makes his way towards the strip, as he's right behind his teammate then. DRS wide open as he gains the benefit of a tow. Both Hasses working in harmony to get the best possible outcome. Reaching speeds about 350 kilometers an hour, that's about 225 as we head down towards the breaker zone towards 40. But unfortunately, Joram has invalidated. It must be so upsetting as well. You must be so annoyed getting invalidation because you've done such a good lap time, but unfortunately messed up in the final part of the qualifying lap. As Joram then makes his way towards the line, it's P7. I dare say Klausler should have backed off more because he's not going to get the benefit of the tow down the long back straight. So I think he compromised himself by not starting his lap time a bit further behind, because I think he full throttled it out of turn 15. Of course you would, because obviously you need to. But what I'm saying is, when he pulled out, he should have just slowed down a bit more and give a bit of breathing space. And Shebeck has got a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. So there is about 3 people with a 5-place grid penalty, and that is blocking the Mercedes driver. So what is the Mercedes doing? Is that Neymar? It is. No, it's not. It is Alas Copo. Alas Copo wants the tow, but he's using both Racing Bulls then. So this is a very bizarre strategy. I'm not quite sure why Alas Copo didn't back off, because he knew that both Racing Bulls was on an outlap and they wouldn't give way either. So that's a shame for Yusuf Shabet, because he wants to stay behind his teammate, because both Racing Bulls have been giving each other a tow. But I dare say Shabek is too close. I dare say. Good evening, mate. Nice to see you in the chat. Good evening. Am I right in thinking that Burmeister finished ahead? I think he will. I'm not quite sure, because my mathematics aren't really that great. So I need somebody in the chat with me at all times, like an admin in the chat, to tell me if Burmeister is going to win the championship. But qualifiers over, and Klausler has hit the wall in the same place as Franco Colapinto out of turn 16. As we exit turn 13, we go then, as the Mercedes on the left-hand side pulls. There's his Mercedes teammate, Alas Copo. He's 2 tenths down in the middle sector. As here we go, they've got 4 cars, both Racing Bulls, both Mercedes, as Neymar is down in P12. It's been a disappointing qualifying driver for Neymar in 12th place there, but it's Yusuf too close as Mr. Joker pulls out. Here comes the Racing Bull as he makes his way through turn 13 to turn 16. Here we go. Out of the final few corners, foot to the floor, as we now head down towards the finish line to complete this lap time. Let's see if this is pole or not as we cross the line right now. Is this pole? It is! It's a 30.5. It's a Racing Bull 1-2. But unfortunately, Yusuf Shabek has got a 5-place grid penalty for blocking, and that is an absolute BS penalty. I'm not quite sure what Alas Copo was thinking at the time, whether he wanted a tow, but regardless, he got the tow anyway because he was behind his teammates Neymar on the straight. So, yep, not ideal there, as he's broke his front wing as well, for good measure. Elsewhere, Zenum in P3, great qualifier for him, and MDJ in P4. As Emils in 7th place in the Ferrari, so Zenum is P3. Is that a top 3? It's an Egyptian 1-2, so both of them have finally climbed towards the top of the pyramid, and unfortunately one of them will take the fall because Yusuf Shabek has a 5-place grid penalty. But of course that both Racing Bulls were going to help each other, because all 3 runs they were giving each other a slipstream every single run. So of course they were going to do it in the final qualifying runs, but it seems that somebody else interfered in that run. It was Alas Copo. Copo had about 50 seconds left as well when he headed down towards turn 14, so I'm not quite sure why he didn't give any breathing space, because he just gave Shebek a 5 place grip penalty. So I dare say Shebek will be absolutely fuming and have the absolute right to do so as well. I can see it in the chat right now, but yeah, it's just one of the things really. It's just a massive shame. Of course, the 5 place grip penalty was just absolute BS. It's a Racing Bull 1-2. And I dare say that, where's Burmeister? Burmeister is in P6. Look how many people have got a 5 place grip penalty, including Alice Copo. So, Velocio Jr. will start down in P10, Shebek will start down in P6, but those promoted upwards, it is Farouk who's on pole, ahead of Zenem in P2. Zenem's big chance to try and create some magic around here. MDJ currently in P4 ahead of Velocio Jr., Burmeister will move at 1 place, so Mills, Caspino, Yarm as well. And Adams, Klausler, Neymar, and Personal Elites will move at 1 place, as Atlas Copa will take a 5 place grip penalty for his impeding in qualifying. It was the Haspod 2 as well last season. It was Electro Dan and Yarva who finished in first and second, with Burmeister in third, Smokey fourth ahead of Adams and Lord by the top G. It was a great race back in Vegas as well. Great work from both Hasses to get themselves in first and second on that day as well. And yeah, all 20 drivers appear. But I do want to talk about the attendance as well, because it has been, unfortunately, not been that great in the last few races. But I can expect it, because when you're coming towards the end of a game cycle, a lot of people will lose motivation. They don't have a lot of interest there, so therefore they will just bid it off. I mean, to be honest with you, the League I Racing has ended last Sunday, so that was the last race of the season, and I've had those thoughts where I just don't want to appear, you know what I mean? I just don't want to go, but you've got to try and force yourself. You've got to try and see out the season. I know you don't like the game, but it's the same for everybody though. A lot of people don't like the game, and they just don't really care about it. So really, you're on a level playing field. Nobody's going to really sweat in the last few races. Just go out there and enjoy yourself, if that makes sense, because that's what I did. And even when I didn't do the game, I just went out there, enjoyed myself, and just got involved. Jamie, gap is 52. As long as Burmeister increases the gap by P2 by 1 point, he will win, as he could then DNF both the last races and still win. So you're saying Burmeister can win the championship this race? How many points? What does he need to finish in terms of the guys behind? So I think there is a new lobby restart then, as we saw what happened in the qualified session. So we'll leave the session then. I got a very slightly different opinion in terms of restarting the session, but we're doing it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But we'll get on with the race shortly in Division 2 to get ready for the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and hopefully it'll be a good one as well. Of course, we have the Miami Grand Prix this weekend, and of course we saw Lando Norris win in Vegas, in Miami, sorry. Taking his first win in Formula 1 after Verstappen went over the bollard and gave himself a bit of bodywork damage as well, a bit of floor damage, which hindered his performance and affected him during the Grand Prix. Norris' pace was strong, and that's when we saw a glimpse of hope for Lando Norris and McLaren as well, when their pace was very, very strong. After, I think, getting taken out in the sprint race, he got spun out, didn't he? But came back strong to finish first in the feature. I think Oscar Piastri and Carlos Sainz as well made contact going down towards turn 17. And I think he gave one of them, I think, front-wing damage at the time, or puncture, I'm not quite sure. But hopefully this weekend, Miami will be good, but I don't think so. It could be a classic DRS train, in my opinion. it's quite rare to see five good penalties being handled nowadays. But I think that drivers need to pay more attention because being behind somebody on an outlap that close, you should know that the guy ahead will get a five-place grid penalty because I think the two RBs were positioned themselves to try and get the toe, have the full effect of a toe as well. But Alex Cooper there was, I think, was he trying to overtake? I'm not quite sure, but he did have 40 seconds left to go in the qualified session, and it was already done at turn 14. So I'm not quite sure why he intended to stay behind there. I will be back with you shortly when the race is about to begin. So yes, there is a lobby restart, and yeah, in the Drivers' Championship in Division 2, Burmeister has a massive lead. I think it's 52 points ahead of Lotio Jr. And I think if he outscores him, he will become the champion. So all he needs to do is outscore Lotio Jr. in this Grand Prix, and he will win the championship. If he DNFs in the last two races, he should be okay as well. So the championship is on the line. But of course, I think the pendulum is definitely Burmeister's way. Burmeister is on his way to win the championship, of course. But it just needs to be announced here in Las Vegas. There is nothing Veloci Jr. can do about it, of course. As long as Burmeister doesn't DNF in the next two races, and Veloci Jr. finishes first, second, first every single race, then he should be fine. But let's see. I think Veloci Jr. knows that his championship aspirations are getting thinner and thinner. So therefore, I think he's just going to enjoy himself in this Grand Prix. No need to think about the championship because I think we know who he's going to go towards. But we just want to announce it properly. But let's talk about Burmeister. I don't think we've given him enough credit because last season for him, he was very disappointed that he lost the championship by about 5 points against Mansell. It was all about attendance really because we know Burmeister had other commitments too. It wasn't just F1 he had tennis as well and spending the summer with his family. And of course, the F1 game isn't really a priority for Burmeister. It's not really a priority for anybody unless you really, really enjoy it and you need sports. But it's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. But of course, that's if you want to win a championship, you've got to be consistent. You've got to be there almost every single race. But Mansell did have his problems too, it must be said. But Mansell had less DNFs and he turned up more. I think Burmeister had about 3-4 DNSs and 1 DNF in a race, which was in Miami. It wasn't last race, but it was last season I'm talking about in Miami. But he was super consistent. That was the main thing. Mansell just brought it home towards the end as well after a few mishaps as well. He had a DNS at the Mexican Grand Prix and he got taken over Oliver in Brazil as well, but came back strong to finish first at the Austrian Grand Prix. But in Las Vegas as well, when it went wrong for Vegas for Mansell, but Burmeister capitalized. They were literally just feeding off each other in every single race, like trading points in every single race, like it was a boxing match, just trading a few jabs now and then. But Mansell eventually landed a knockout and ultimately won himself the championship. But Burmeister, after seeing lose the championship, was determined to get back, and boy did he make a statement this season as well, because Burmeister, ever since the get-go, wins the Mexican Grand Prix the first race of the season, gets on the podium 3 more races after. That's 4 podiums in a row. At the Belgian Grand Prix he was feeling sick as he fell down some stairs, and ultimately didn't have the performance, did he? Because I think he was just too tired, too sick, and he spun in Belgium as well, so he only scored a few points. He finished outside the top 10 at the Belgian Grand Prix. Then in China, he went on to win with a fantastic drive again. Singapore finished on the podium. The Italian Grand Prix on the podium with the fastest lap of the race. And Abu Dhabi with a win again, and Brazil with a win, and the Japanese Grand Prix with a podium. So after Belgium, he's had about 5 podiums in a row. Or 6 podiums in a row, sorry. But in Qatar is when he DNF'd, and it was the first lap of the first corner where he got taken out, unfortunately, did Burmeister. And the Canadian Grand Prix, he came back strong. He did pick up a penalty during the Grand Prix, but he at least finished on the podium. And he was better than his rivals for the whole season, while they had their struggles as well. Burmeister was on it since the get-go. It took a long time for Velocity Jr. to finally get up to speed because his poor results finished outside the top 10 some races. Then finally the Belgian Grand Prix when he progressed up into second place as well. Picked up only 2 wins this season. That was back in Canada and Miami, the last 2 races for Velocity Jr. As towards the last stage of the season is when he became stronger, but ultimately it wasn't enough because Burmeister was the most consistent of the whole season. All he needs to do is outscore Velocio Jr. and he should win the championship. This race in Vegas, 75 points or more on the line, but just need to outscore him really. I think the most interesting battle is P2 between Velocio Jr. and we've got Yusuf and Yoram as well. Yoram, I dare say for me, has been, hard to put it quite frankly, a bit disappointing for me this season because high expectations, of course, in season 15 when he returned back, he really did struggle because he was a spinner like Xenom. Every time he would qualify high in qualifying, he would spin during the Grand Prix. And that seems to be a regular occurring pattern as well. But in season 16, he returned back very strong. In fact, it was actually during the same season where he returned back and struggled. Then, finally, he picked up a few wins along the way and shown his real good pace as well. And I thought he would carry it over to the season. He has, but not the way I expected. He hasn't really spun as much this season, but it's just the pace he's lacked so far, it must be said. 2 wins and 5 podiums this season. A spinner like Xenom. Yep. Yeah, he is. Hopefully then we can get racing very soon to see what happens around here in Las Vegas. We did have 3 safety cars appear in Vegas yesterday's race. It was very chaotic, a lot of drama, a lot of things happened, but in the end it was Havlar in the Kick Sauber who went on to win his 2nd win in a row and 2 wins only during the course of Division 3 as well. So what a fantastic drive once again for Havlar. Defeated Pabelli, who did extend the championship lead ahead of Energy Dan and Keith, more importantly for him as well in terms of that championship battle. It's super close in Division 4, 3 and 1. But in Division 2, Burmeister, out of all the 4 divisions, has been the only person comfortable in terms of leading the championship. I'm not looking backwards. No doubt that Burmeister was going to be a championship this season, a champion this season, the way he has been driving. Yes, his qualifying has been his biggest kryptonite, his biggest problems and flaws for the whole season, but he's got the race pace to back it up because sometimes you think it's impossible to get yourself towards the front because sometimes the DRS train is split and you're stuck in there, you have nowhere to go, and all of a sudden doors and opportunities arrive for you and you grab him by the hands and take him. That's exactly what Burmaster's done. Every time he sees an opportunity, he will always go for it. And that's what's cost him to win the championship, or going to win the championship, it must be said, in the future, in about an hour's time. Don't know what we're waiting for, but I think MDJ, he just sorts out the order, of course, removing people's 5 plays group penalty. So I really hope we can get racing again. A lot of mixed opinions about the 5 group. The thing is, though, we haven't had a 5 players group penalty for a long time in qualifying. So, yeah, we haven't had a lobby restart for such a long time. I do hate lobby restarts because obviously they're a waste of time and it just ruins the flow, ruins the momentum and slows things down. But of course, sometimes it's going to happen. Even unexpected situations like this where there is less drivers, but still 3 people had 5 players group penalties. Unbelievable. I can't remember the last time we had a lobby restart. It was such a long time ago since we had one of those, and for some reason we're having it here in Vegas, so it is a bit annoying and frustrating. But while something's got to go wrong, something you can't always have a fluent consistency going on all the time. Something's got to go wrong. But anyways, hopefully that's the last of Gremlins going on, and we can get racing around here in Vegas very time shortly as well. I can't wait to see what happens as well, because I think we're going to see a lot of people changing and swapping positions as well with the DRS on the short straight from out of 4 to 5. Then, of course, that long back straight, the 1.9, 1.2 kilometer straight headed down towards turn number 14 is where we're going to see a lot of overtakes. It is very important as well, because out of turn 14, it's so difficult whether you lose traction on the exit, whether you clatter the curb on the entry, because you arrive about 350 kilometers an hour down to about 80 kilometers an hour down towards the corner. Then you're back to the throttle once again immediately. You'll be very careful as well not to hit the walls. So you've got to coordinate and plan your attacks at the right time as well. So here we go then. Finally get into this session. And we'll see what happens in this 25 lap race. Surprisingly, Velocio Jr. asked MDJ to keep his 5 players group penalty. That's very brave of you indeed, because I wouldn't do that, especially in a tie championship 5. But honestly, I guess gets you very far as well. The strategy around here should be mediums to hards or hards to mediums. We did see one person yesterday do the Ulster strategy, but a safety car is also a common factor around here as well in Vegas. It's so easy to make contact, so easy to lose it in the wall. We saw 3 safety cars yesterday in Division 3. Could we see any more? Luckily for us, it is not raining. It is dry on the circuits, so if it's a good driver, should be happy with that. We're just waiting for the drivers to apply the setup, of course. Setup is very important around here, especially with the wings as well. The top speed I've seen so far is about 353 kilometers an hour, equivalent to about 225 miles per hour. we don't really see the top speed of that anymore because of the downforce of the cars. I know, of course, back in MotoGP where the top speed can reach up to about 355 or 360 kilometers an hour because the slipstream, no DRS of course on the bikes. There's barely any wings on the bikes as well. It's all about the straight line speed on those motorcycles. The top end speed is very important in MotoGP as well. The slipstream is very powerful, but in terms of F1, where downforce is very important as well, and dirty air. Of course, you can also get dirty at the back of MotoGP because the front tyre is under massive pressure as well, high pressure, and a lot of dirty air coming out the back of the rear wheel of the bike as well. And we saw that Marc Marquez went down as well in Spain at his home Grand Prix, and his brother Alex Marquez went on to win the Spanish Grand Prix, as it was MotoGP last weekend as well. Very upsetting for me because I'm a big Marquez fan, but at least the other Marquez won. And guess what? It's a Marquez 1-2 in the championship. Alex Marquez leads the championship for the first time in MotoGP, and Marc Marquez is second. When was the last time we had two brothers in Formula 1? Oh yeah, Michael Schumacher and Ralf Schumacher as well. That's the last time we had two brothers in Formula 1. Correct me if I'm wrong or not. It's just a very quick fire thought. But in MotoGP, there's been multiple brothers as well. Paul Espargaro, Aleix Espargaro, Marc Marquez, and the other Marquez as well. So quite a few brothers in that category. But we barely see brothers now in F1. Of course, I think it was... Who was it? What's his name? Leclerc. What's his first name? We had Charles Leclerc and his brother in FP1 last season in Abu Dhabi. It was Arthur Leclerc, yes. So Arthur and Charles Leclerc made their debut in FP1 in the Ferrari together. But when is the next time we're going to see brother and brother in Formula 1? Who is most likely to get a brother in Formula 1? I'm not quite sure. Probably Charles Leclerc, but is Arthur Leclerc really in a position to get into Formula 1? I don't think so. I don't think he's not doing too bad wherever he's racing right now. He's not racing F2. He's racing F elsewhere. So I'm actually not quite sure what Arthur Leclerc is doing in the other categories. So Yusuf's pole is reinstated. It's an Egyptian 1-2. They're on top of the pyramid, but we'll see if anybody else can climb up the order. Burmeister, all he needs to focus about is get to the best possible result. His focus is set on beating Velocio Jr. and also Yusuf Shabek. But Yusuf Shabek is way further down in the championship, so he shouldn't have to worry about him. So Burmeister needs a clean race, can't afford a DNF, and if he does afford a DNF, then I think Velocio Jr. then can't afford to win the Grand Prix or get on the podium. So two drivers have been disqualified, Klusler and Neymar. They've both been disqualified as they get reset to the grid then. The tyre strategy, let's see what the tyres have been selected. So both Racing Bulls have gone hard, and the rest of them on the medium power tyres. Velocio Jr. on the hards and President Elite. So both Aston Martins and both Racing Bulls are on the hardcore power tyres. Let's see how much dividends their strategy pays off. If there's an early safety car, their strategy is completely compromised, and that's the risk you run by running the hardcore powered tyres as well, because there's always a risk of that early safety car in any circuit really, except Qatar, but we did see a safety car come out in Qatar as well. But circuits like these where a chance of a safety car is quite high, you have that risk running over your shoulder. Sometimes it can swing back the other way where the safety car comes out later on and the advantage goes their way, and they can go from hards to mediums. So we'll see if a safety car does come out or not, but one of them has been disqualified. But Yusuf and Yusuf line up on the front row together to control this race. Here we go then. 14 drivers line up on the grid, ready for the race around here in Las Vegas. Watch out for the lights of the panels. And we get racing around here. It is round 15 for the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and so far an even start. But here comes the Williams in the middle as we head down towards turn 1. It's the Ferrari versus the Williams as we swoop through to turn 2. Now going through 3 and 4 we go. The RB of Yusuf has been dropped into P5. He has lost 3 places there. The Red Bull... Oh, there's a crash in the background. And that could have been Klusler, as there's been a bit of footwind damage as well in the background. I'm not quite sure who that was. But the Racing Bull of Yusuf, unfortunately, has lost 3 places. He's down to 5th place. He got bogged down. The Sauber, unfortunately, Caspino makes contact with the wall on the entry towards turn 5, and unfortunately for him, he has lost his end plate as the racing bull in the background goes a bit deep, but still makes the corner as there's a Haas right behind him. Is he going to go the inside in towards turn 10? Oh, there's contact there between those two as Joel gets out of shape, as Caspino now is back through with a broken end plate, and here comes MDJ. So MDJ has actually lost a few places too, so did he get caught up in that melee? I'm not quite sure, but as we head down now towards turn number 13 and 14 we go, single fire through there as the McLaren gets all squirming at the exit and he makes contact with the wall. A lot of drivers in this Grand Prix unfortunately losing their wings and lose their heads as well, as in the background we can see that Klusler is making a move on Neymar, who is also on the hardcore power tyres, but Zenom finally gets a good start. He's up into P2. The championship leader of Burmeister is currently in P3 as we go side by side in towards turn 14 we go. Any driver looking for a move down the inside towards turn 14, not to be so for the time being then, as they all make their way out of turn 14 towards turn 16 we go. It is Yushi Shabek who remains the leader of the Grand Prix on the hardcore power tyres, with his teammate unfortunately fell down the order. We don't have replays, do we? But out of turn 1 I see that the Ferrari goes a bit deep and Burmeister immediately putting the pressure on the Ferrari ahead of him as well. So the DRS now is wide open. Yusuf in the background is struggling to get himself in within the DRS range, which is very important to stay on the train as we head down towards turn 5 we go. We see Yarrow progressing up the field. The Haas now moves himself up into P5. A great move from the Haas, but I did see a ghost up there as well. Was that Zenom who was a ghost momentarily? I think it was, and the rest of the train has been brought up as well. So Zenom might have been compromised going in towards turn 6 and turn 7. Did Burmeister hit the back of him? But crucially, for his sake, he is still in the DRS range, but seems to be struggling in the early stage of this Grand Prix. I pray and hope for his sake that he does not spin, because he's running in a very comfortable position. Sometimes it's very easy when you're struggling in the first stint to overdrive the car. And that's when you start making more mistakes as well, because you're trying to get yourself back in the DRS range of the other people, the other guys ahead. And there's a yellow flag down there. Alas Copo has become a victim of turn 14, unfortunately, has hit the wall on the outside, and his race has been wrecked. As we see on the straight, the Haas pulls out against the RB. As we head down towards turn 14, we see Yoram progressing up into 4th place. A very nice neat move there from the Haas driver. He's up into 4th place. The kicks out, but despite broken wing, is still there. And he's putting Yusuf under massive pressure. So Yusuf, in the early stages of this Grand Prix, he seems to be struggling so far as he goes defensive on the inside in towards turn 1. But surely, with the lack of end plate, he's not able. All this contact between those two. And Caspino there loses the car, loses the balance, and unfortunately losing places as Yusuf remains pointed in the right direction there. Was there space given? Was Caspino aggressive around the outside? But unfortunately, it has led to the results of Caspino losing places. Adams has also progressed up into P10. President Elite is on the hardcore power tyres. Let's see if the Aston Martin's got any damage on his car. He hasn't. Adams does after he hit the wall at the exit of turn number 13 on the last lap. Seems to be flying now. He's still in the DRS trade, or just about, but he goes a bit deep in towards 6 or 7 there, so you can definitely tell that the lack of downforce is really hurting his progress through the mid-speed, high-speed corners. Now headed down towards turn 13 we go. Then we can see Burmeister and Zenon rise to the back of Yusuf Shabek once again. But Yusuf doing a fantastic job out there so far in first place. He is on the hardcore power tyres and doesn't seem to be under massive pressure. But of course, he can't put the DRS away from Zenon and Burmeister, so he's carrying that train along with him. Zenon is doing the right thing, though, by staying behind Yusuf, not attacking him in the early stages of the Grand Prix. Here comes MDJ up the inside of Yusuf again. Oh, a bit late to the brakes there. Is the Racing Bull driver, just stays ahead as well. So great late braking skills there from Yusuf Farouk to keep himself into 5th place ahead of the Red Bull driver who won around here in Division 1 last season, as Burmeister Yoram sets the quickest lap time of the Grand Prix as they chase after Yusuf Shabek then, as they all seem to settle down now in a big DRS train. The top 6, of course, in the DRS train, as 7th place downwards have been dropped. Reminiscent of yesterday actually, because last night we saw that the top 6 pulled away with 7th place struggling to stay on the DRS train as Adams has pitted to put on a set of hardcore power tyres as we head down towards turn 5. Then no moves being made so far. It's a high speed game of chess around here in Las Vegas. You just want to play your cards right at the same time, move up the field in the right place at the right time as well, making sure that you keep the rivals behind as well. Zenon just looking for a move, just being very patient so far, not going for any aggressive rash moves. as he's biding his time, waiting behind Yusuf, of course. But the more he waits, the more Burmeister is going to be impatient. Therefore, he'll try and force him to overtake Yusuf as we head down towards turn 13. Then missed the apex did Yusuf, but still out of the wall there. I thought for 1 second a trip to the wall was going to be necessary for him. But here we go then, with the DRS wide open once again. It's halfway down at the straight. By the way, if you hear some noise in the background, that is my fan. And of course, understandably, if you live in the UK, why can't Ayub not change his settings? He has brake assist on, can't use ERS, can you unlock it? That's very weird. He has brake assist and ERS off, so that must be a glitch surely. So that's a shame there for Volochev Jr. Where is he? Currently down to P12. As you can see, the Haas is right behind Burmeister going in towards turn. I have heard of this glitch before. Here he is then. He resetted. Is everything okay now with the Aston Martin driver? I really hope that everything has sorted itself out. Last week's race winner, this man won 2 in a row, but unfortunately, he just can't seem to get the race he needs. I think he's in AI mode right now, the way he's driving. Yeah, he is. So he is in AI mode, trying to sort his settings out. Just as nothing seems to be working on that Aston Martin. It's like Lawrence Stroll last season when he had team radio issues. He couldn't hear his own team he couldn't hear his own engineer when they tried to communicate with him. But here we go then. Once again, Yusuf still remains in the lead of the Grand Prix. Nobody's really putting the pressure on. Nobody's really progressing. As we see these two then going side by side in towards the high-speed corners as Neymar gets ahead as we arrive down in towards turn 12 as the Sauber literally rides over the curbs. But here we go, the DRS enabled once again. Who is going to make the moves down this main straight? We go. Burmeister is harvesting energy. Will that give all the encouragement for Yoram? Yes, it does. As Yoram is side by side with the Williams driver as we head down towards turn 14. The Haas gets ahead. Nice move there. But it did drain a lot of battery though. I wonder if Burmeister is trying to save as well. Yes, Burmeister's saving. So a lot of these drivers here, you can see that they're quite low on the ERS level as they used it earlier in the race as well, trying to just save a bit of battery. As we see these three then go at it for 6th place, as MD 5th place, sorry, no, 7th place. Has Klusler, Neymar and Caspino head down towards turn 1. The Mercedes up the inside outbreaks himself and Klusler just simply walks past him, and so does the Sauber driver too, as they both move at 1 place each due to the expense of Neymar going deep in towards the breaker zone. Now, back on board this train. You can see that all these drivers remaining stale so far in this race. Nobody really progressed through the order. Yoram made his move though on the last lap as we got a yellow flag as Caspino is out of the race and a safety car has been deployed. The Kick Sauber is stranded in the background there of your pictures at turn number 5. He has gone into the wall and unfortunately his race has been ended in a tragedy. Had a good start, but unfortunately on the Adams gets a drive penalty for speeding under the safety car. The safety car is right behind him as it pulls over to the right hand side to let the drivers catch up. There's the Mercedes safety car waiting in the wings. This has compromised heavily both Racing Bull drivers. What did I talk about? I talked about in the early stages of the Grand Prix where the hardcore part tyre runners could be compromised with the safety car, and they have. Both Aston Martins as well have been compromised with the safety car, although it could benefit Volochev Jr. getting closer towards the train as he's quite far behind. So the safety car is probably a bit of a relief. So then these drivers will make their way in the pit lane. Of course, both Racing Bulls will have to double stack, and what a shame. Oh, I would love to, Laser. If I can find you, of course. Let me just find you real quick. You're called VMS Laser, aren't you? So, of course, I think in the V section, you're going to be quite far behind. You're not paying offline, are you? I've got crossplay on, unfortunately, so that's why I've got to do this. Oh. It was nice to have you in the commentary box, keep you some company, of course. So that'd be very helpful indeed. Of course, we had a 3-way last week in the commentary box. It was me, you, and it was also, I think it was Nodus as well who joined us in the commentary box last week. So, as you can see, the race has been changed now. As we see the top two, they're on the hardcore power tyres. They haven't pitted just yet the Grand Prix, so they're going for the optimum pit window. The Velocio Jr. is on the soft core power tyres, interestingly. So, saving the set medium core power tyres, of course, we had a lobby restart. So, he does have a new set of softs in his disposal to use. Obviously, he rotated towards the end, but doing a soft as a middle stint to try and see what ground he can make up. Then, a few laps later, he will pit to go to the medium power tyres. So, this race has heavily compromised the people that started on the hardcore power tyres, such as both Aston Martin, such as both Racing Bulls. They're on the mediums right now, and they will make it towards the end, but those tyres will drop off quite off the cliff quite dramatically as well. As we see the safety car in action, 13 now remain in this Grand Prix. A-dubs at the back of it, as we see the people now on the hardcore power tyres, as we see somebody else in the pit lane. That is Junior Lane going on the going back with the mini power tyres. Oh yeah, he's retired from the session and left. But anyways, welcome later, mate. How are you?
Yeah, hello mate, I'm good. What about you? I'm just joining in the lobby now. I've just got an invite from you a minute ago, so I've just loaded the game up and I'm pretty much in the joining screen now, so that'll be good. How's the race been so far?
Yeah, not been too bad. It's been quite quiet on the circuit, of course, because not a lot of people want to go for a move just yet, as it's quite early. A lot of people just settling into that one big DRS train we see. Nobody really making moves, etc., except Jorm Burmeister. But Burmeister, of course, knows the championship is on the line, of course, just want to beat his rivals, and so far, he does have the advantage to do so, to try and beat his rivals around him. Also, before you start talking as well, make sure your voice is shared, because I know you like to turn it off.
Yeah, I've just done it now. Just make sure. Oh, this bloody game just takes so long to join. Okay, I'm in now. I'm just going to get into the lobby.
How are you feeling, by the way, for the Vegas Grand Prix tomorrow? Are you confident around this track?
Oh, I hate the fucking track. Sorry for the swearing. I hate the track. I'm not confident at all, but we'll see what I can do.
Yeah, my confidence as well. Do you know what? I've actually never done a league race around here in Las Vegas, so I literally have no experience around the track at all. But when I've driven it in Grand Prix mode on Tire Trial, I absolutely hate it. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I'm just slow. I don't like the track, so there's not really much going for me here. But we'll have to see how it goes again. If anything can happen, you know.
Hopefully be a good race around my Vegas as well, because even though in terms of drivers not like the track, as commentators and spectators, it's actually quite good and enjoyable to watch as well, because in Division 1 we see a lot of overtakes. Well, in every single division we've had so far, we've seen a lot of overtakes happen, especially down the Las Vegas Strip, where, of course, drivers can get past easily. But the safety car is in at the end of this lap, and we've resumed to normal racing action then with President Elite and Neymar. Those two have stayed out there on the hardcore power tyres there, so they're going for their normal strategy, whilst the rest behind are on new hards or mediums. But let's see then what happens in the second half of the Grand Prix. Yusuf Shabek then has the better tyres now, but towards the later in the stint, he will have the tyres drop off, unfortunately. Here comes the Racing Bull right behind Burmeister as we head down towards turn 1 then. Will Yusuf try and go all the way around the outside of the inside line towards turn 3 and 4? He will. What a nice move there from Yusuf, as Burmeister did have a bit of a lag spike, and now Yusuf is right behind Neymar as we head down towards turn 5 we go. Yusuf is laser brakes, puts himself into P2. Very important to get past these guys on all the tyres, as I think Yarl just hit the wall. Yes, he has. And the exit of turn 5, Yarl, unfortunately, hits the wall. He is losing places. He's side by side with Burmeister as we head down towards 6 and 7. A bit of contact between those two there. Wheel banging. But Burmeister puts himself now up into P6. That's a costly mistake there from Yarl, as he's lost a few places.
Yeah, so Yoram had a bit of a shaky one there. Yusuf Shabayek is all over President Elite. He needs to get past for a strategy because it's only a stretch to get the medium to the end. So I reckon he's going to have to try unless there's another safety car. Because if he pits again, he's going to be way back. He needs to get past Elite now so he has a gap to guys like Zenon who's just made a move on name on me or trying to down the straight. He's just got past now. And Youssef is going for a move on President Elite. It's really important for Youssef to get a gap. His tires are going to die towards the end if he tries to stretch it out and needs as big gap as possible. Yoram is also making a move on Burmeister back here, and there's a lot of battles going on right now, trying to organise back into their position. So
Trying to get themselves back where they were originally, as Yusuf Farouk is right behind Neymar, then going wheel to wheel with Mercedes driver on all the tyres. This should be an easy move, but the Mercedes is not yielding just yet as we head down towards turn 1. Important for the RB to get past, and here comes Joel, but here comes Yusuf down the inside. It's a late move there, and here comes Mercedes, but almost here, there's contact between those two, and more contact as Neymar is sandwiched in the middle of them both there. He practically had nowhere to go because Joel was on his left hand side and Farouk was on the outside there. So it's a shame because he got sandwiched there, and unfortunately, cork in a bottle, and he has dropped down the order before being damaged as well. As Joel and Farouk was desperate to get past that Mercedes.
yeah, so MDJ needs to make the move on Neymar because Neymar's going to be slow with his damage. He's got to be careful though if he just taps him there. He's really been too aggressive here. He needs to pick a moment as the Meals comes right up his inside and Mikey spins. That wasn't their best driving, I think, from all of them, but like hopefully Neymar's got damage so people are getting desperate to get past him. It's about patience. Emil should just wait for the straight. He's going to struggle on Neymar without his front wing or half a front wing. He's going to get past if he gets DRS like now. He needs to play it smart, Emil. Just stay behind with the detection. I'll let you take you through the move, Jamie.
P2 of President Elite is under massive pressure by Zenom and Yusuf Farouk right behind. They have DRS on the back of the Aston Martin. I expect them to blast past him now. Going wheel to wheel with the Aston Martin, who is defenseless with no DRS. Zenom is now up into P2. Can try and focus on setting his sights after Yusuf Shabek. And possibly, I think Zenom is in a really good place so far in the Grand Prix. I really hope this curse does break because I don't want to see him spin. And I don't want to commentate a curse either, but Yusuf Farouk is right behind President Elite as Yusuf sets the fastest of the Grand Prix. And as the other Yusuf does, as we head down towards turn 1 we go, Yusuf goes around the outside, in towards turn 1, in towards turn 2. The Aston Martin has no grip, and now Yusuf puts himself into P3 behind Zenom. But in terms of the longevity of the Grand Prix, in terms of the endurance, I think Zenom's tyres will be better in comparison towards Yusuf Shabek and Farouk. So I think Zenom just needs to play the long game, be patient at this stage of the Grand Prix. There's no need to make any sort of mistakes because this should come towards him when those people around him on the medium start to drop off. So he just needs to be patient right now in this stage of the Grand Prix. Don't do anything erratic or stupid.
Yeah, also right now, President Elite's really struggling, finding himself under a lot of pressure from Burmeister and Yoram. Burmeister just needs to make sure he doesn't make a mistake right now because even if he doesn't wrap it up today, like if he comes P6 or P5, he's going to get a good amount of points for this race and it's going to be all but done at that point. But he just needs to not get damaged, stay consistent, trying to pick these guys off one by one, which he's doing right now. He's right under Yoram, and they've both got, I'm going to probably both mug off President Elite as well. Elite didn't have DRS, or will Burmeister get boxed in? Be very close down the straight. Elite's out of energy. Burmeister's going past Yoram and President Elite as well. And Yoram's trying to get the move. Yoram inside, there's contact.
There is contact between those two. It is Yoram and President Elite there who got squeezed against the wall on the outside of turn 13 or before it as well. So President Elite there take a bit of damage. Hopefully he hasn't got any, but he might come back on the Haas there because the Haas is derated down the straight. They have no ERS to the name whatsoever as they're trying to progress forwards as we head down towards turn 1 there. Now Burmeister is in P4. We know how competitive he can be. So Zenom, who is trying to go for his first win, who is trying to go for his first podium of the season, as President Elite gets a handful of opposite lock at turn 3 and turn 4, literally wrestling with the car. But Zenom is in a really good spot to try and win this Grand Prix, but Burmeister is the driver you don't want behind you, and we know how competitive and handy he is as well, as Neymar's retired in the pit lane.
Oh, yes, it's unfortunate there for Neymar. Burmeister needs to get himself in DRS over Zenon ideally, which he's just dropped out of. He's got to try and close that gap down. Zenon's got to try to keep it open. But the longer Zenon keeps it open, the more likely he is to win the race. We know how quick Burmeister can be, and he's really pushing to get in within Zenon's DRS, which he might just do. It's critical for Burmeister and Zenon's race here, depending on if Burmeister gets DRS. Yarm is also struggling to keep up with Burmeister as well. I think Burmeister just stolen the DRS of Zenon. Yarm's just taken it off. Burmeister at Elite looks like he's dropped out. But he's been coming to press from Closer behind the safety car. Never mind.
And the safety car has been deployed, and let's see what the reason is why. Who has lost their wing? Oh, MDJ has lost his wing out of turn 13. So, has the pendulum slightly gone towards the two RBs? Because the two RBs, who look like they were not in a great position to take their tyres towards the end. They could possibly pit and put on a brand new safety compound tyres, and they do. The RBs head into pit lane, as Zeno and Burmeister are staying out, as there's a bit of kerfuffle going on, as there's a collision there between Yarm and President Elite, as President Elite lets him go, and there's more contact between the two as well, and more contact as he literally taps the back of him. So there's a lot of silliness going on, unfortunately, but now the situation has changed. The top four have stayed out. Burmeister, Zenom. I think the pendulum has gone back towards the racing bulls. So I talked about how safety cars can literally destroy or make or break your race, and in the first stint, you could be disadvantage in the first safety car, but later on the safety car could come back your way. The pendulum swings around and roundabouts. You never know where it's going to go, and so far I think both racing bulls are in a good spot in P5 and P6 to now have a chance with the Grand Prix. So it's President Elite as well in P7 to actually build a podium. So let's see, is it going to pay dividends later on the Grand Prix for them or not? Let's see.
Yeah, James, I'm just going to rant a bit about this game, because that was never a safety car in a million years. A bit like yesterday, there were so many safety cars that shouldn't have been out. That was never a safety car. Mikey lost his wing. He got going. That should have never been a safety car, really. But back to strategy. The racing balls are now looking good. Atlas Gold was on fresh hard, so he's maybe looking okay. Not as good as the medium guys, but he's got new hard, so it shouldn't be too bad. Adams is in P9. He's been a bit quiet at the moment. It's been in no man's land, but this should help getting back into it. And Yarm's now right in the back and forth, and MDJ as well with what happened to them. But we'll see how Youssef can make his way through the field. He's got 4 cars to try and take the lead. He's got Zenon, Burmeister, Klosser, and Emils. Burmeister just needs to keep it nice and clean and composed, and he should be on his way to taking the championship. But it really depends on how the others do.
Indeed it is as well. And President Elite was one of the drivers who stood out during the first safety car, and now he's in P7 on a new semi compound tyres there. So he's actually looking in a very good spot in P7 as well, just staying out there and tries to defend. And now our second safety car came out doing his one stop from harsh to medium, so it's worked in his favour as well by staying out there later on the hard compound tyres and now moving over to the mediums in P7. So once again, this whole trajectory has been shifted and changed, and now we see both racing bulls who were disadvantaged beforehand now have the advantage on a new set of medium compound tyres. They can definitely take them towards the end, and I should say that I think one of the two should have a big chance of winning, or both of them been on the podium like they were back at the Belgian Grand Prix, when both of them together were on the podium in the Racing Bull and the Ferrari at the time as well. And Zenom, well, looking for his first podium and first win. First podium since season 16 at the Imola Grand Prix, but his first win since a long time ago. I actually can't remember the last time he won a Grand Prix. I think it was for quite a long time ago, judging from the top of my head as well, because I think Zenom was the one that brought Harry Kane into SFR as well. I think Zenom brought his good friend into SFR.
Yeah, sorry, would this be Zenon's first win actually? Has he won before? Can't remember him winning before. He might have, but I'm tempted to say this may be his first win if he manages to pull it off. Which he's definitely not going to be happy with the safety car, because that's kind of messed him up a bit. He's running a fantastic race, but all he needs to do now is not spin, not get damaged, and just remain consistent. That's all he's got to aim, and just hope something happens behind, or he can get a gap and he falls to him in the right place at the right time. He's done fantastic so far. Keep guys like Burmeister behind, who he knows is very quick himself, and then it's going to be key for the racing balls not to get damage coming through this pack, because that's going to be key as well, because we know sometimes guys on fresh tyres are aggressive to guys on older tyres, and they pick up damage and that's race over.
Yeah, just like Yusuf and Farouk, they both need to make their way up the field one by one, not to make any sort of erratic move, just try and pick their rivals off. They've got the tyre advantage so far, so they need to use that tyre advantage, make sure they don't do anything very, very silly indeed to ruin their own races. This is in their hands now to try and get as many points as they can They're currently in P9, believe it or not, in the championship, despite having some good results. But obviously, we've had a few driver lineups mixed up as well. We had Yusuf Farouk come into Racing Bull towards the second half of the season after we saw that Velocio Jr. wasn't really happy. Plus, Velocio Jr. started the season wasn't really that competitive in the Racing Bull either. But ever since he switched over to Aston Martin, he has done a better job in the Aston Martin. So that's why they're currently down in, do you know what? Ignore me. I was reading Div 1. But President Elite and Yusuf... I know, safety car is coming in, and why are these two going side by side? President Lee needs to stay behind him. I don't know why he's done that. That's that's a silly thing to do indeed. Reported. Yeah, it should be. I don't know why he's done that, but now the safety car is in at the end of this lap, and President Leeds, I don't know why he overtook Yusuf Farouk there, but as I said, there's a penalty coming his way. As Adams goes deep in towards turn 1, Farouk needs to find a way past again the Aston Martin. I don't think the Aston Martin is going to let him go easily, so that was a bit a bit silly there. Why? Because they were still on yellow flags, they were slowing down and he overtook illegally. But here comes Yusuf on the Mills, but not for the time being though. But out of turn 5, I thought for 1 second that Yusuf Shabek might get him on the exit with the better tyre advantage and the grip and the traction, but not to do so. So where is his best moment? Probably down in towards turn number 16. That's possibly we can get him.
Yeah, I agree, Jamie. I think Clough just hit the wall as his car's ghosted. Although Yusuf, is he going for it into here? Not quite. The Elite was clever to let Yusuf Farouk go so he could avoid the penalty potentially, but he hasn't done now, so I don't know if that's still going to be possible, but maybe. But so Shabek gets a fantastic exit. He's all over Emil's, and Emil's is very close to Cluster. I think I made a mistake, and now the DRS is enabled, he's out of it. They're trying to all make a move on Cluster. Here goes Emil's, and Shabek's right behind them both. Is he going to go for a double move here? It's a big risk. Oh, it's going to be close. As Emil's gets past Cluster. Shabek's on the inside. If he can outbrake him, he's got to be careful, make the apex. Done that. Good exit. He's ahead. But Cluster has a lot of energy to use, and he's doing that right now. And Shabek's in a big problem defending this if Cluster pushes.
3 more drivers in front of him, but here comes Klaus now side by side with the Racing Bull as we head down towards turn 1, but Shabek should easily dispatch Klausler with his mini compound tyres as we go towards turn 1 and turn 2. Now through 3 and 4 we go in towards 4, and Yusuf Shabek does get the move ahead of Klausler, and here comes Elite with the DRS wide open side by side with the Haas driver as we head down towards turn 5. Here comes the Ferrari blocking off the RB as we head towards the breaker zone we go. Yusuf down the inside he goes. It's what there's contact between the Aston Martin and the Haas. Which one of those two broke their end plate? I think the answer is, who was it who broke their end plate? Was it Yusuf Farouk in the background? I'm not quite sure. Was it him? Yes, it is.
Farouk left end plate.
Oh, what a shame there for the Racing Bull driver. I've no idea how that happened because I thought it was the Haas or the Aston Martin who lost the end plate, but it's Yusuf Farouk, and he was in a really good position to try and make his way through the field, albeit though he was struggling in terms of pace in the first stint on the hardcore bar tyres. But unfortunately now a big disadvantage, and now it's his teammate is the one to catch after the top 2. Burmeister versus Sedum, but shortly Yusuf Shabek will be arriving on the scene as President Elite now puts himself into P4 ahead of the Ferrari. But these guys going 4 abreast on the straight. Let's see which one of them gets ahead. President Elite has not got DRS. The guys behind do. As here comes the Haas now. Up the inside. Klausler retakes P4 away. Here comes Jean in the background. Just goes side by side. In towards the corner we go. President Elite is a ghost. And Yusuf Farouk gets ahead. And there's yellow flags in the background. MDJ has spun and lost the car once again. And here comes Farouk now side by side with the Haas.
Yeah, Farouk's trying to get past the Haas. He's on the outside. Clutter outbreaks him. Is he going to go for the switchback? No, you think he's going to wait for the straight, which is smart, as Shabek needs to get in the DRS of Burmeister to help his race. Meanwhile, as now the mini straight's coming up, Farouk all over the back of Clutter. He's going to the inside. President Elite's not too far behind. He should make the move on Clutter. Will President Elite get past Clutter? It's very close. It does. And now Clutter gets hit by his teammate who also gets past him. Clutter's been mugged off here. And now he's got Meals as the next one to basically execute him for his P7 now.
Elite really cost himself because he got past Klusler before turn number 13, and he was on that back straight defenceless, but no DRS, and the guys behind got past him, such as Farouk. And now he's up into P5 once again. Farouk's ahead of him, but unfortunately the Racing Bull driver does have full wind damage. As we head down towards turn 13, As President Elite is really struggling with the back end of the car. Yusuf Shabek is trying to get in the DRS range of the top two, as Burmeister is right behind Zenom. And this is a battle for the lead of the Grand Prix. Zenom going for his first win in SFR as Burmeister pulls out as he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. I'm surprised that Shabek in the background hasn't really caught up to the guys in front, as Jorm gets ahead of Elite as we head down in towards 14 then. As he gets hit by the other half of Klausler there, as we head towards chicane we go, keeps the car in control, but President Elite is sliding through the corners. I've noticed that in the last few laps as well, and Klausler just hit the back of his goal for good measure as we head down towards the final kink and the final bend. There's contact between those guys there as we head down towards turn 1, in towards the bigger zone we go. And that is the Haas of Jorm trying to overtake as Mercedes in the background goes off the track. That is Alas Copo who goes off in the background, but Yusuf is right behind Zenom as we head down towards turn 5. Is this a lunge from the Racing Bull driver? How aggressive is he? And the answer is very, as he puts himself into P5 and P2, sorry, in turn 5, and now his sights are focused on Burmeister.
Yeah, so Zenon's very, very clever not to fight that too hard. His aim should be, at the moment, just get a podium, don't make a mistake, and he didn't do anything risky there, so he's... And him and Burmeister have been working together really well to create that gap behind to over 4 seconds. So these top 3 should be the 3 podium sitters if nothing goes wrong like a safety car. So Zenon playing this really well so far, as well as Burmeister. And maybe he'll come back towards Farouk at the end of the race and possibly Burmeister and even get a win, but we'll have to see how it goes. For now, they've secured themselves 1, 2 and 3 in whatever order it finishes. So they've played it smart, both Burmeister and Zenon, and then Shabek obviously joined the battle now. And they're going down the straight here now. I think Yusuf Shabek might get past Burmeister. Burmeister's not going to care about that for now though. He didn't even fight it at the moment. That's quite smart of him. Use his DRS for now, wait till his tyres start and go back past it. Behind Yarm's getting past Farouk. But then again, Farouk didn't really fight him. Behind Adams is battling with Klauser. He's going up his inside. It's Apex, great move from Adams. Now he's going to chase after Emil, who's a much older hard. But that should be a move that you can make soon.
Zenom is struggling just a bit to get up to the DRS for Burmeister as well, so it's very poor for him not to lose the DRS in the back of Yusuf. Oh, he spins! No! Save the car! Save the car! Get back on the track right now! And he's still in P3. Get back on the track. And Yorum's right behind with the DRS. I don't think he has DRS, but he gets past him. Yorum goes up into P3, but Yorum does get 3 second penalty. As here comes the Racing Bull on the Ferrari. And here he is on the back of the Haas as well. As we head down towards turn 5, the side by side, but Zenom has lost 2 places. There's contact with President Elite. And that's a big bottle there for Zenom. Oh my goodness me, for the sake of Lauren Winter, he has dropped it once again out of turn 1. He just needed. It is so frustrating, like, even me, as it's getting frustrated for me as well, because every single race is just the same thing for him. It is so... Yeah, it's just so frustrated to see that, really. Every single race when there's a big challenge, you just don't want to see it. It was a joke. Like, it was fun memes at the start, but in all honesty, it's just really, really, like... For him, it must be annoying, but for us, it's just annoying as well, because we really want to see him do well. We finally want to see him win a race, but he just keeps on making very, very silly mistakes. There's no need to, because all you need to do, stay behind Meister, stay behind Shabek, use the DRS at the back of them, and Farouk is up into P3, so still, it could be a double RB podium despite a broken front wing. Zenom's still there in P5, so is there any chance to get himself back in the podium? I'm not quite sure. He's still in the DRS range of Yorum and Yusuf Farouk as well. Of course, Yorum does have that 3 second penalty. So, he will get to P4.
Yeah, Adams is going for a move on Emil, sorry to interrupt you, and he might even get President Elite here if he's not careful. He's going for a move of President Elite, also has damage. Adams locks his brakes, now President Elite stayed ahead of Emil, then Adams for now. Back to Zenon, it's not over for him yet, he still has a good chance for a podium. One of the cars ahead of damage, and Yorum's got a penalty. He just can't afford to make another mistake, and I think he might actually get on the podium if he doesn't do that. But that's going to be his big challenge, not making a mistake, because Adams behind. Is he going for a move? Not quite as President Elite loses the rear, but stays the status quo for now. But yeah, then should just focus, keep it consistent. I think he'll get Farouk, because Farouk has damage, and Yorum has a penalty, so he just needs to stay consistent. I genuinely think he can still get podium here. If not a podium, a very good P4 for him. As now they've broken the DRS to President Elite behind, who's also got a penalty, and it's got damage, slowing up Emil's, Adams, Klosser and Atlas GoPro at the moment, and they're going onto the back straight.
Still good pace there for Zenom on the hardcore power tyres, even though the guys ahead on the mediums, though. Keep up with those two, as Emil gets past the Aston Martin, who seems to really struggle for traction, as now Adams is alongside as well. They should have the DRS on the back of the Ferrari. Oh, there's contact in the wall! And massive collision there between those two. And a safety car has been deployed as well in this Grand Prix. How on earth did that happen? And yeah, that ended tears right there and then. So another safety car has been thrown into the mix, and let's see then what happens towards the second half of the Grand Prix. Is anybody going to pit? Yes, Yusuf Shebek is in the pit lane. Burmeister stays like Yoram is diving off the pit lane. Yusuf Farouk is in the pit lane too, and Zenom as well. So majority of drivers in the pit lane except Zenom. Zenom is staying out there as well. We did see yesterday that 3 drivers have Havlar, who was it? Papeli Havlar, and somebody else stayed out there and remain in the top 3. Could we see the same thing again here in Vegas? I'm not quite sure, but there's been a lot of drama and controversy in this Grand Prix, and I think who was yesterday finished in P3? It was a British person, I know that, because it was the Norwegian one too, but somebody finished in P3. I just can't remember who it was, even though it was yesterday.
Martin, was it maybe?
Yeah, Martin. It was Martin, Scottish, sorry. So the top 3 stayed out there yesterday, benefited from that, because the guys behind on the hards didn't really capitalise. But we'll see now. Yusuf Shebek is on the softs. Yusuf Farouk is on the soft compound tyres. Who's going to win the Las Vegas Grand Prix?
Yeah, it's a very tricky situation to know what's right. Like, it's very hard now, because then on, like, Burmeister has a cushion of then on Emils and Atlas Scopa now for the soft runners to get to him. You also got Yaram on a penalty. So, and also, while that happened, Aiden's picked up a drive-through penalty, by the way, 10 seconds for speeding the pits or something. So that's not good for his race. And I don't really know how that was a safety car. 2 guys had wing damage, but they weren't in the wall. I don't think that should have ever been a full safety car, but it is what it is. But hopefully it gives us an exciting end to the race. Atlas Scopa's got the freshest hards in P4, but he's going to be the first one under attack from Shebek who's going to look to get past him. And I think Yusuf Shebek will make at least 2 or 3 positions here, depending on how long the safety car stays out. I think it will stay out at least another lap as Aiden hasn't caught the back yet. But what do you think, Jamie?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. I think Shebek will be in the best place once again. Of course, this is a lobby restart, so it's a brand new set of soft compound tyres. They've all got a brand new set of soft compound tyres left in their disposal to use. And for the second time in a row, Yusuf Shebek going the pole, as he was during the second safety car when he pitted from hards to medium tyres again, or mediums to mediums again. He was attacking the top 4. And he's doing it once again, but this time with about a few laps left to go in the Grand Prix. So Shebek on the brand new set of compound tyres would be absolutely blistering. We've seen a lot of action in this Grand Prix. I would rather it as Copo has been overtaken by Shebek. Shebek, just stay behind me. There's no need to. I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know what's going on now.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
He's gonna get reported as well, most likely. I don't know what he did. He
needs to give the place back.
Hopefully. If he gets a penalty now, he needs to give it back in a restart, I hope. But Adam's also passing President Elite. What are these guys doing? They're battling. It's a safety car, guys. Stay behind each other. It's not too hard. But that's put Shebek now 1 place up. It's a difficult one for him. He's got to give that place back, in my opinion. Unless there's some extenuating circumstances that I don't know about. But that is a very weird thing to happen. We've seen it from a few guys today, I think. Yusuf Shebek, we saw it from President Elite as well earlier. But President Elite's getting past now another guy. But he's giving it back this time, so yeah. Hopefully it stays all clean for the rest of the race, so it wasn't a very busy man in the stewards.
I expect Vegas to be crazy in terms of overtaking, but I expect it to be this crazy. Division 3 and Division 2, once again, just providing some, too much action really for our sake, especially when there's 10 drivers left to go in the Grand Prix. You don't expect this much carnage. But look at that, Yusuf Shebek is trying to give the place back, but he needs to realise he can't give the place back.
He can't give it now. He can't give it now. He's got to go now. He's got to give it back on a restart of the safety car if possible, if safe. He's got to go now and get the bit back to the pack, in my opinion. But I mean, if it's extenuating circumstances, he might just be okay. But it really depends on what the circumstances were that you overtook Atlas Scopa in. He's done the right thing now, caught back up with the pack. And a restart if possible, I think he should give that back from what I've seen. But don't do it in a bad manner, make sure it's safe. He's got to make sure it's safe as possible. This President Elite did something similar earlier, but he didn't give the place back, so he might be getting a penalty coming his way. But we'll have to see. Aiden's almost hit the wall.
If you want to give the... Oh, there's front wing damage. Somebody's lost their end plate towards the front end of the pack. Somebody has lost their end plate, and that is... Who is it? It's Burmeister! Burmeister has broken his wing. Can you believe it? Another twist in this Grand Prix. I thought it was Zenom who broke his wing. But off we go racing once again then, as we continue racing around here, around a 6.2 kilometre track, as we head down towards turn 1 then. Anybody making a move? I think everybody is a bit too far back, but Burmeister has broke his way. Look at Yusuke Shabek with the extra give of the soft compound tyres, is right behind the Ferrari and lining the Ferrari up as well as we head through turn 3 and turn 4. Just being very patient now. He can think about overtaking the Ferrari for Mills. The Mills trying to squeeze him against the wall as we head down towards turn 5, and more contact between the two there as Yusuf down the inside in towards 5 makes the move stick as the Mills tried everything he could to defend, but was vulnerable and therefore could not defend against the mighty racing bull driver of Yusuf. Now Zenom is putting pressure on Burmeister. Burmeister is really struggling with those hard compound tyres because he's broke his front wing. And now Jorm shut down on the other two. Jorm spun and unfortunately ends his race down in P10. But here we go, down towards turn 13 we go with Burmeister in the lead. Zenom following behind with Yusuf and Peter with the soft compound tyres. What about Klausner with P6? Is there any opportunity for him to be on the podium with those soft compound tyres? But here comes Yusuf then side by side with the Ferrari as he just blitzes past there with the benefit of the soft compound tyres, and will he overtake Burmeister in towards turn 14? I think Zenom could still be in the podium despite what happened early on in the Grand Prix. As we head down towards 14, is Yusuf going to make a move? He's going to be bold, he's going to be brave. He is down in the inside towards 14. Burmeister, he knows he can't afford to make any sort of silly impressions because he knows the championship is on the line, so therefore there's no point trying to hold up the guy on the softer compound tyres. But here he is with the ERS head side by side as Burmeister retakes the lead of the Grand Prix as he's back in first as DRS is enabled on the last 2 laps.
You know what, Jamie? I think Zenom can still win this race because you think about it, Burmeister got wing damage. Yusuf Shabek might be getting a penalty coming his way depending on what happened. Yusuf needs to get through if he thinks he's done wrong to get a gap to Burmeister. By the end, then Burmeister's trying to stay with his DRS because Yusuf might be getting a penalty. It really depends on what happened to the safety car if he gets reported and all that. But Zenon's still in a very strong place. He's got to worry about Klosser though, who's only now 2 cars behind him and right on his teammate. So Klosser's a big threat, and also Yusuf Farouk.
Watch out for Klusler in P5 as well, and Yusuf in P6 there. Zenom could be still under massive pressure because Emils in P4 could be the blockage there for Klausler, and Yusuf could be the obstacle in the way for Klusler and Yusuf to make their way through. They do have the new soft compound tyres there attached to their cars. The better tyres, but Yusuf is side by side with Klausner. So yes, he is. As we head down towards the breakers, there we go. Can he make it stick? He can. He's up the inside. What a lunge there from Yusuf. He's up into P5 and now can focus on setting his sights on both Ferraris in front of him and Burmeister. Burmeister is on the DRS. Here comes the lead side by side with Klausner as we have the DRS wide open for both of them. As we now watch Zenom take Peter away from Burmeister. Those two go side by side. In towards turn 14 they go. Zenom is up the inside and outside in towards 14. What about Klusler and Yusuf? Klusler stays ahead of Yusuf there after being under massive pressure. Klusler loses it. Here comes the racing bull driver back on the Haasman. It is the final lap of the Grand Prix and Zenom is 9/10 away from Yusuf Shabek, but there's surely no chance of the soft compound tyres he has on that racing ball. As we head down towards turn 4, turn 1 we go. Contact and Klusler's been spun around and unfortunately has ended in tears as Emils is on the back of Burmeister. It could be a double Ferrari podium. Ferrari have not had a podium yet this season, but they could have 2 cars on the podiums after a difficult season. Let's see what happens on the final strip of the race there as we head down towards turn 5. But Burmeister is still in DRS range of Zenom. Zenom should surely have the downforce on the front of the Ferrari, turn the car in and potentially break away from Burmeister. Get that gap over a second as Burmeister has a massive stop and oversteer. Klusler gets a 3-second penalty for corner cutting, but surely now Emils has a big chance. But watch out for Yusuf in the background. He's there in P5 on those soft compound tyres there, so Burmeister might be swapped down the straight. Can he stay in DRS range of Zenom? As we head down in towards turn 13 we go. It's all going to happen. Burmeister almost the wall. Emils almost to the wall. Here comes Yusuf as they go side by side. He forces his way past, but they both will have the DRS down this 1.2 mile straight as they make contact. As here we go with the DRS wide open, they're 3 abreast as they both go past the Williams driver. Emils goes up into P3. Yusuf does not get past the Williams. As we head down towards turn 14 we go. Yusuf finally gets past the Williams driver as we head down towards 14 and 16 we go. But towards the front end of the field, it is this man, Yusuf, who will make his way towards the finish line. Here comes Yusuf to win the Las Vegas Grand Prix as Yusuf as well behind Mills. Does he get to it so close? He does! Yusuf gets himself on the podium. It's a double RB podium by 200ths of a second. And Burmeister is the world champion in Division 2 for SFR. Burmeister wins the championship. What a fantastic race for him to win the championship here in Las Vegas like Verstappen did last year. What a race that was. It was very climatic. It was very dramatic, full of chaos as well. It erupted there, race full of attrition, and it ended as well with a lot of retirements and a lot. The end of it, it is Yusuf Shabek who wins around here in Las Vegas ahead of Zenom. Zenom finally gets his first podium of the season after almost losing it. Lap 20 when he almost spun the car. He did spin the car, but kept it going. Yusuf in P3. It's a double Yusuf podium for first and third. Unexpectedly as well after what happened to him when he broke his wing and dropped down the order. In Mills in P4. Burmeister 5th place. Alice Scopo, who started last, is in P6. Elite, Klusler, Adams and Yoram. This race was all about surviving, really.
Yeah, it's a really good end to the race. Like, is Burmeister officially the champion then? Like, is it all done? Because Chebeuk, where did he finish? P1. He had 26 points. He had fastest lap. Burmeister got 22, 2018. I think Burmeister got 16. 10 points swing. I don't think is it mathematically over yet, or?
Should be.
There was Burmeister. If he lost 10 points to Chebeuk and he's on 2-2. The gap. I don't think it's over yet. It's pretty much over. I think there's a 49-point gap between him and Yusuf Chebeuk. Assuming Yusuf Chebeuk does not get a penalty post-race. But I'm not entirely sure.
It depends on the post-race penalty, like you said, because he will drop down the order, surely, with that safety car infringement, but I'm not quite sure. But, yeah, what a race that was towards the Grand Prix. I honestly thought that I needed somebody to chat the whole race because it's so difficult as a commentator to figure out the points by yourself mathematically. Because obviously, the commentators get it on the screen, don't they? When they have the championship on the line, it's on the screen ready for them. But obviously, I can't do mental maths and focus on the championship one side. So somebody needs to be in the chat with me the whole time to confirm that someone is the world champion. I can't do it by myself.
Yeah, definitely. It's very hard. Like, I've just tried to do it off the top of my head. I could be wrong, but I think Burmeister might have to wait one more race to actually confirm it. He's only 49 points ahead of Yusuf, assuming there's no steward's investigation to what happened to Yusuf, because I am interested to see what happened under the safety car between him and President Elite did the same thing earlier in the race. If it was a glitch or they just basically messed up.
So if Burmeister doesn't win the championship here in Vegas, then he will win it at his home Grand Prix, and what a way to do it. He will definitely win the championship unless he DNFs in the last two races and Yusuf Shabek wins both races, which is highly impossible. So yeah, Burmeister should win the championship, but he might be a bit frustrated because obviously what happened with that, he broke his front wing. Did he hit the safety car before turn 13, 14?
I didn't actually catch it, to be honest. I assumed that's the only way he'd break his front wing unless he hit a wall, because there's no car ahead of him. He's either hit the safety car or he's hit the wall. But it'd be interesting. Zen was just showing the party. He did his mandatory spin, but he got on the podium this time.
Well, Zen, I was actually I was just a bit pissed off when you spun because, like, it was a joke, it was a meme to start with, but the more you do it, like, more times you do it, it just becomes a bit increasingly frustrating because it's like one of the underdogs where they try to get their first points in Formula 1, then something just happens to them. It's like George Russell trying to get his first points in Williams, and he keeps, like, something happens or something like that. But yeah, it's just a massive shame. Well, not a shame because you finished in P2, but you did your mandatory spin. And you dropped down a few places, but you still finished in P2 towards the Grand Prix. You must be absolutely delighted to get your first podium here this season after a long streak away. Your last podium was in Imola last season.
Yeah, I remember last podium. It's a long time ago. Yeah, it's been a very difficult season, and I've struggled so much on this game. But yeah, this time it fell. Yeah, it was a good race, and when the second safety car came, me and Burmeister stayed out, so it was a little bit Sweaty because the other guys come right behind us on the softs, but yeah, managed to stay ahead. So yeah, it was a good race. I'm very pleased. Very funny.
Very funny indeed.
Yeah.
Mate, I just can't believe it because I thought because you had it in the bag, you're either going to win or be in the podium either way. But I can't believe what you did in turn one because I thought it was over. But you saved the car and you stayed in the DRS range of Yusuf Farouk. And I think, who was at the time ahead of him? I can't remember who it was because so many people just changed positions.
I think it was Burmeister and Yaram came ahead. And in turn one, yeah, I had the wrong brake bias. So I had too much grip on the front, so the rear come out there. So it fell in place when I got the bias right again. So yeah.
Was it a massive risk for you to stay out during the last safety car because you stayed out on the hard compound tyres? How nervous were you as well because you're going to be under massive pressure from the guys behind the soft compound tyres, but still finish home in P2 to defend from those guys?
I think I was a bit lucky when Burmeister, I think he got damage or something, and when Josef came behind, and yeah, he just stayed in front. I just tried to keep up with him, but yeah, he drove away. But then I saw Burmeister fell longer way behind me. So when I got that second to Emils and who was on third? Yeah, it was the other Josef. I thought I was gonna keep ahead the last round there. So yeah, I need a shower now.
I bet you do, mate. You're absolutely sweating. Yeah, it was a very hard fought race that was. I couldn't.
Yeah.
It was so intense, but I had no idea who was going to win the Grand Prix. Literally had no idea. But it kept us on our toes towards literally the last lap of the Grand Prix. And a shame for your teammate because he also hasn't scored a podium yet this season. He was super close, but the other Yusuf took it away by 200 per second.
Yeah, I heard Emil was short on the ERS on the last round there. So yeah, it was very close. So, but a good race from both of us. Yeah.
Very happy for you as well. Now, there's 2 races left to go this season, and I just want to ask a very hard question for you because what's the actual reason for you spinning behind? Is it are you pushing just a bit too hard beyond the limits, beyond the car's capabilities? Are you treating it as if are you overdriving the car a bit too much every single lap? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so, but the main reason is that my ERS management, because about 90% of my spins is because I leave the ERS on hot lap in the corner, and then I just spin around because it's a little bit too much for an old guy like me to handle the ERS management and so on. So I've tried to do my practice a little bit else in the last time, where I have trained a little bit more on the ERS management. So I hope it come on place. This is a track I don't even like, so I'm looking forward to Netherlands. It's a track I hopefully can be. Hopefully, without any spins, maybe.
I think you spun in qualify last season.
Yeah, I think so.
You did.
I think I got disqualified from quali last season. Yeah. So this time I'm gonna stay without a spin, I think.
That's why I was laughing, because I just remembered that Oliver was saying in the commentary box oh, boy was saying hopefully he doesn't spin, and a few seconds later he spins. I think I can find the video very quickly because there's only you in this pie, so I'm gonna find it very quickly. It was so funny, like.
Yeah, I understand why you are frustrated with me, because every time you are on board or commentating, there is Xenon, and hopefully it doesn't spin, and then I spin. So yeah.
Like, we support the underdogs, obviously, so like we want to see like people do well, like people who they don't. I don't know. How do you describe it?
You know, Jamie, you shot yourself in the foot there. You're basically trying to say people who don't normally do well, do well.
Yeah, that's why I stopped speaking.
But nah, Xenon, if you won as much as you spun, you'd be the championship leader.
Yeah, of course.
Well, the good one today, though, getting P2, so congrats for that. Like.
Yeah, I think I've my own championship in spinning, so yeah.
Oh, here we go. I found it, so listen to this.
He sort of mucked it up himself and put too much power in the X and sort of spun himself into the wall and ruined his race. Is today, well,
He's got us qualified.
Oh, that's too funny.
It's the day that it's going to spin.
No, it's not. Oh my god.
Mate, every time you join the party, it's always laughter, so yeah, that's all positive.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Just keep the head up and try one more time.
Good luck, mate, at the next two races. Nice to have you in the podium interviews. And Laser, thank you so much for joining me in the podium interviews as well. Thank you very much. Throughout the whole race as well, actually, yeah.
Yeah, no worries, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you so much for, good comms.
Thank you, mate. So we move on to Las Vegas tomorrow at 7:30. Join me and whoever else wants to join me tomorrow in the commentary box. And also, we move on to the Dutch GP for Division 4, 3 and 2. Join Division 4 back at 7:30. Join Division 3 at 8 o'clock with me and Milan Langer. Join Division 2 back with me and whoever else here. And Division 1 between me and whoever else here at 7:30. So see you all later. Goodbye for now. Take care.